Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. In this session, we will be discussing how to use ClickUp as a CRM. My name is Jonathan. I'm a trainer here at ClickUp. Thank you very much for attending this webinar today. As we get started, we're going to go over a few housekeeping items. First, this webinar will last around 45 minutes. If you have any questions or you need assistance from us, please go to help.clickup.com. There you will access our help center where you can search for articles to help answer your questions, or you can engage with one of our customer support reps via our chat. Now, we would also love to get your feedback about this webinar, so please see the link in the video description below to where you can let us know your thoughts. Please tell us what you like. Please tell us what you might like to see added to this webinar in the future. We're constantly wanting to improve these so that we can meet your needs and help you get up to speed quickly on how to leverage ClickUp. So in this session, you're going to learn how to do the following things. You're going to learn how to set up a small CRM using the simple CRM list template that's available in the Template Center. We're going to explore how to build out a more complex CRM and sales pipeline. We will also learn how to create relationships between our tasks to enrich the CRM with context. And we will learn how to leverage forms and automations to make managing the CRM and your sales pipeline much easier. So let's start out by discussing just what is a CRM. Well, CRM is an abbreviation that stands for Customer Relationship Management. It generally will consist of a contact database and a sales pipeline. Common features of a CRM include contacts, accounts, leads, opportunities, products and services, reporting and analysis. Now, we understand what a CRM is, but why would we want to set up a CRM in our ClickUp workspace? Well, there are several benefits. First, all of your work and your data are in a single place. ClickUp then becomes your single source of truth. This is where you will go to find out who is who and who's doing what. With ClickUp, you can customize your CRM in the way you want to record and store the information you want. Projects and tasks in ClickUp can be connected to relevant CRM items. So, for example, if you're doing work for a client, you can link from a task related to that work to the client's record in your database. Access to CRM data can be controlled very granularly using the sharing and permission settings for each location. And most importantly, everyone stays in the loop via notifications. And this is accomplished by adding stakeholders who are related to or interested in the account as watchers on relevant tasks. Now, there are a number of ClickUp features that enable CRM functionality, and I've listed a lot of them out here, but let's focus just on the ones that are really the most important. First are statuses. We can use statuses to track the progress of a lead from its initiation all the way to closing a deal. Task assignee is used to identify the account owner. So for a contact record, the task assignee on that record would be the person managing the account. We can leverage the power of custom fields to store information such as phone numbers, email addresses, even physical addresses, and so many other things. We also can leverage the power of relationships in ClickUp to connect the dots, to tie different parts of our CRM together. Task views, such as list view, board view, calendar view, etc., can be used to manage your CRM data in a number of customized ways. The advantages of using ClickUp views are that each view, each instance of the view can be configured independently. Multiple instances of the same view type can be created, so you can configure different versions of list views, for example. Views can be pinned so that they are prominent. And for example, when you pin a view, it becomes the first thing that people see when they go to the location where the view happens to be set up. And view filters can help you focus on specific categories or statuses of leads and opportunities. ClickUp dashboards can be used to analyze and monitor and report on your CRM data. ClickUp forms can be used to collect information. And in fact, this is one of my favorite ways to make sure that when we're creating a contact, that we're including all of the required information, because we can leverage required fields in our forms. And automations are used to do the heavy lifting for those routine chores and data maintenance so that you don't have to do it manually. So let's jump into our workspace, and we're going to take a look at how we can leverage the lightweight CRM list template to quickly create a CRM in our workspace. So we're going to start by going into our template center. Now, this can be accessed in a few different ways, but the most straightforward way is to come down here to your avatar. Now, if you are a workspace owner or administrator like me, your link to Template Center will be located on the left-hand menu. This is your workspace settings. For those who are not admins or workspace owners, your link to the Template Center will be on this side, and this is your personal settings. But once we go into Template Center, we have access to a variety of templates, including those that we ourselves create in our own workspace, as well as a set of community templates. These are templates that we have created and provided to you to allow you to quickly set up new items in your workspace and get started managing your work. Now, the Template Center can be searched by keyword. So up here in the Search Templates box, I'm going to type in CRM so that we can filter our list, and it will only show us the templates that are related to CRM, or in other words, that have CRM in the template's name. We're wanting here to focus on the simple CRM list template. And when I click there, it brings me in and I can see a preview of what the list will look like. I can see a description here of what the list contains, what it will do. We can preview the statuses that are used on this list. We can see which custom fields have been set up, and we can see what views are added to this list. Let's go ahead and add this list to our workspace using the template. To do that, I'm going to click here on Use Template. Now, this is the screen we will use to control how the template is applied. The first thing that we have to do is to give our new list a name. The default will be the name of the template, but let's just call this My CRM. Now, you can call it whatever you like. Here, we have to tell ClickUp where this list should be located. I'm going to click here, and I have a space already set up for my lightweight CRM, so I want the list to be created within that space. Now here we have import options, and we can either import everything as it is in the template, or we can decide which options, which different fields that we want to leave out. Now in this case, I want to bring in everything, but if you wanted, for example, to exclude assignees, for example, you could turn that off here. We're going to bring over everything though as it is. Now here is a very important and powerful feature of the Template Center. With ClickUp templates, if they have scheduled tasks in them, you can have ClickUp automatically reschedule those dates based upon a new start or end date. Now, it probably doesn't matter in this situation because this is a CRM, but let me show you how to leverage this feature for other templates. I'm going to click here on Remap Dates, and we're going to choose a new start date. And I'm just going to choose today's date. And then we will also skip weekends so that we're not scheduling anything when no one is working. And we're going to bring in all of the tasks on this list template as open. Now I'm going to click on Use Template. Now, down here, we can see that the list is being created, and it does take a few moments to spin that up. But now we see we have a new list called My CRM located here in the designated space. And we can see that we have some sample data, so we get a sense of how we can use this template. And so let's now go through some of the basics here. So this is going to apply not only to this template, but to the example that we'll show you in a few minutes. So in a CRM database within ClickUp, we are using lists to segment clients, leads, and opportunities. Now, in this example, everything lives in one list, but in the more complicated example that we'll present in just a little bit, you will see how that is broken apart. Tasks are used to represent contacts, leads, opportunities, etc., instead of being an action item. ClickUp tasks are flexible in that way. You can use them for a unit of work, or you can use them for another purpose, such as tracking information about a contact. Custom fields are going to be leveraged to store information for which there is not an existing place already in the task. This would be like email addresses, phone numbers, etc. Relationship custom fields are leveraged to link related items together, such as a client to an opportunity. Roll-ups facilitate bringing in additional information via that task relationship so that you can see more details without having to click through and open the related task. Now, unless you are using one of our CRM templates in the Template Center, you will have to build out your CRM from scratch, but there are definitely advantages in doing so. Existing data that you may already have can be imported into ClickUp. So if you have contact information in a spreadsheet or even in another piece of software, you can export that out to a CSV, separated values text file, and then import that into your workspace. Customized views can be leveraged for reporting, as well as focusing on specific types of items, such as lost versus won opportunities, leads versus customers, etc. And ClickUp dashboards can also be used for analysis, reporting, and oversight. So let's go through and explore this template. So we now have our list created. We see we have some sample data, and it appears that there are a number of custom fields that are already set up for us. Let's walk through here. So first, we have an instructional guide that will give us some background information on how to use this particular template. And it will go through and explain some of the different components and how the list is intended to work. I recommend that if you use this template, that you read through this very carefully. And once you are done with it, I would recommend unpinning it. That way it's sort of out of the way, but it's still there if we need it, and we can instead focus on our list. Tasks are being used here to represent a contact. So here we have a contact for a Victoria Wong. Now, again, ClickUp tasks are very flexible in this regard and can be used for a variety of purposes other than simple action items. The task assignee is going to be used to identify the account executive, customer service manager, etc., whoever is responsible for this lead or this client. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to assign myself as the account owner for Victoria Wong. Now, our statuses on this list are being leveraged to organize our contacts and monitor the progression of the relationship. So here we can see how we start out with leads. We can move things into opportunities, and then we have statuses for won, disqualified, or lost. Custom fields are used here, such as this drop-down field for stage, where we can kind of capture where things stand in our progress of the sale with this particular contact. We have here the estimated value. This is a money field. We have a field here using ranking to sort of indicate the confidence in closing this deal. Then we have things like phone numbers, email addresses, and a text field so we can track the company name And here we can see the last time that this record was touched or updated, which is really important so we know how to groom things. So if we see a contact maybe that hasn't been reached out to or engaged with for a certain period of time, we could reach out and hopefully re-engage with that contact. And here we have our views. We have our list view and our board view and our table view. This allows us to view and manage our information in different ways. So for example, list view as well as our table view is going to give us a quick overview so we can configure our columns so that we can see the information from the task that we want to see, and we can arrange it in whatever order that we prefer. The board view allows you to quickly update the status of a task. So for example, if we want to move Isabel from a lead into an opportunity, all we do is drag and drop from one column to another because we have it grouped by status. You can group by other fields such as assignee. So if you group by assignee, you can drag and drop things between assignees. Board view is very, very flexible in that regard. All right, let's jump back over into our list and let's look at customizing this view even further. Now we can add additional columns. We do that by coming here to the Add a Column button on the far right, and we click. Then we get this panel. We're going to go to Show Hide, and when I scroll down, we're able to see all of the fields that are listed here. Now the ones that are already shown are here at the top with the little check marks out beside them, but others that are not added are listed below that. So here, let's add the disqualified reason column. And you see here we have a label field. We can actually go in and add additional options here. All of these custom fields are further customizable. So for example, for the stage, there are already several options here, but we can go in and we can change these. I can rearrange the order. I can change colors. I can even add additional options. So it's very, very flexible in that regard. Here, for example, with the ranking field, maybe we don't want to use that emoji. Maybe we want to use the thumbs up instead. We can customize that to our own taste. Now, we can also leverage a feature called tags, and this allows us to categorize our contacts in this case, or just tasks in general. So maybe I want to use this to indicate the industry. So let's say that Victoria is in manufacturing. I can add that tag. I can customize its color. So maybe I want it to be this nice blue color. And I can continue to organize either by selecting an existing tag or creating a new one. Tags can then be used with filters and with grouping in order for us to really hone in on, in this case, specific industries. Now we have a task here that represents the contact. So what about managing engagements and interactions with the contact? Well, for that purpose, I might leverage a subtask. So let's say that we have a sales presentation that we're doing with this particular customer, and we're going to schedule it for tomorrow. And I'm going to assign my colleague Logan to that so that he can set up that meeting. So now he will set up this sales presentation and deliver it. And then when he's done, he can come in here and mark it as closed. And we now have a record of what we did with that client. Now, what I would probably do would be to open up this subtask and either here in a comment thread or perhaps by adding a ClickUp doc, I would include notes from the meeting, maybe a link to a recording of the meeting. All of that can be tracked within this subtask. Now, there are a couple of additional features that are not included in this template that could be very useful to add on. First, using a form to enter in new leads. That would be very useful because, as we will see in a few moments in the more complicated CRM example, you can use a form to set required fields so that when you're adding a lead or a contact to your CRM, you can make sure that all of the important information is included before the contact or lead can be added to the database. You also could set up a dashboard connected to this list in order to do some analysis and monitoring and oversight of your overall program. Now, again, this is a very simple example, but for a lot of people, especially small businesses, this may be all that you need. But again, you're not locked into this. You can use this template to get a head start. You have the sample data to where you can play around with it and configure things the way that you want. And when you're ready, just delete the sample data and then start adding contacts of your own. So now that we have explored the simple CRM template, let's now take a look at a more complicated example. Now, understand that the sales operation space that I've created here as this more complex example was not created using a template. This is something that I built out myself from scratch. So this will give you some idea of what is possible for you to do with your own CRM in ClickUp. So first, let's go over and take a look at what we have here. So within this space, I currently have two folders. I have one folder that contains my CRM. So I have a list in there for clients, and I have a sales pipeline folder where I'm managing leads as well as other contacts, opportunities, and I have a list that's a database essentially of the products and services that we offer. Let's take a look at each of these. So in the CRM folder, when I click on clients, you're going to see a list here with a number of different clients, and I have organized them using statuses. So I have a status for an active client, and I have one for an inactive client. So we know who we're currently engaged with and who we have a previous relationship that is no longer in place. Here we can see the company name is listed as the task's name. The account executive is set as the assignee. We have a text field where we are listing out the primary contact's name. We have an email address custom field for the email address, a phone custom field for the phone number, and a website custom field so we can store their website. Now, of course, we can add additional columns. So we have things like a location field for the billing address. We have a relationship field for opportunities, physical address, etc. So this is a pretty simple database, but if I need to reach out to Blue Cat Hotel, I know who to reach out to, how to contact them via email, how to contact them by phone, and I can even go and check out their website to learn more about them. Now let's come down to the sales pipeline folder. Now the sales pipeline folder contains a list for leads and contacts. So again, I am using the task name to represent the company name, that same text field for the contact name, website field, etc. I've also added the total time in status field. Now this is not a custom field. This is a regular task field. This lets me know how long, for example, this particular company has sat in the status of being unqualified. This will give me an idea of really where I need to do some follow-up. Now, new leads are added to this list via our new lead form. So here you can see we can select the name from the list. So I'll choose myself. Company name, so we'll just say new company. This is a lead for our sales department. I mean, that's sort of lame, but which gives you an example of how you can enter information into that field. Let's say that it's John Doe, jdoe@email.com. Let's do a good Atlanta number. 785. Website www.mysite.com, and I have a tag to document the lead source. This came in as a referral. So one thing I want to point out here is that we have set up certain fields as required. So this little asterisk tells you that you've got to enter a value into that field before you can submit and create the new record. And it just so happens that all of the fields on this particular form are required. Now, once I submit, this is going to create a new task representing this contact. And I have a convenient link here. If I'm entering in multiple, I can quickly get to a new version of the form to add another contact. Let's go back over into our list and let's take a look at our new record. So here we go, new company as a referral, John Doe, I'm the AE. This was last updated just a few minutes ago, our URL, and you can see that this is a brand new record. If I click through, you can see all of the information that I added in. So we got this new contact added to our list using the form, and by leveraging those required fields, we were able to get all of our data entered. Now, the form setup, let me take you in there. So we've seen what the form looks like. Here's the setup kind of behind the scenes. Note that tasks will all be assigned here to my colleague Jake because he's the sales manager. So what he'll do is when a new lead is created, he'll get a notification letting him know that a task has been assigned to him, or in this case, a new lead. He will come and triage it and decide, okay, who's going to handle this? What are we going to do? Is this worth pursuing? But this is a very, very cool feature of our forms. You can set up a default assignee without having to leverage an automation. Now, of course, you could do it through an automation as well. But for those of you who might be on the unlimited plan or the business plan, where you have a limited number of automations that you can run each month, this will definitely save you a few automation that you could burn up, a few uses there. All right. Now, speaking of automations, we've got a couple set up here on the list here. So the first one is when a prospect has been changed to the closed or won status, move the task to the client's list. So this is an automation that handles transferring a lead into a client. And we're doing that based upon a status change where it moves into a closed status. Then ClickUp will automatically move this task to the other list. The second automation is when the status changes to closed and won, we're going to create a brand new task in the opportunities list and assign that to the sales manager for he or she to triage. Once again, we're using the same trigger and the same value. And then here we're using create a task. We're passing over information from the original task into the new task, which is a really great feature because this saves you time. You don't have to manually do this. Now, one thing I want to note here, both of these automations are using the same trigger, meaning they're going to fire when the same event happens. So sometimes if you need to do multiple things based upon a certain event taking place, you have to create them manually. But here they're triggered by the same event. So now let's demonstrate this workflow. So you've already seen how to add a new record. So that's kind of where we get started. Now let's open this up, and it's assigned to me because I'm going to be the account manager. And I'm going to move this now into a qualified prospect because I've done some research and I really think that this is something, this is a deal that we can close. So I have updated this so that everybody knows kind of where we stand with that particular lead. So now let's think a little bit about what could happen once we move from a lead into an opportunity. So let's actually go ahead and let's say here, Bailey Building and Loan. Let's go ahead and move them into a closed won status. So when we do, we're going to see that task disappear from this list. Where did it go? It went to clients. Remember our automation. So if we go over here we now have Bailey Building and Loan Association listed as an active client. Let's go in here into our opportunities list. And we should see, here we go, Bailey Building and Loan Association project. So this is the task that was created for us. We applied a task template, which added all of these different subtasks. We also have a checklist in here. So we have to link the opportunity to the client. Okay, so here we go. Who is our point of contact for this? It's going to be Bailey Building and Loan Association. And remember, I mentioned those roll-up fields in our relationship custom field. Here we go. I can see, in addition to the task name, or here the name of the contact, I see who we deal with over at Bailey Building and Loan. But what are we going to provide for them? We can now add a product or service. So here you see we sell widgets. So they want to buy a large widget. Those are going to be $100 a pop. Well, let's try that again. Large widget. So we have now indicated here what it is that we're selling them. They also are going to need our delivery service because they're going to have it delivered. And we're also going to do the installation for them. So that allows us to connect the dots there. And I neglected earlier to show you this products and services list. So let's take a look at that real quick. Essentially, the purpose of this list is to feed into that custom field. So on an opportunity record, we can indicate exactly what it is that we're going to do for this particular customer. So think of this more as a database instead of like actionable things. But we are able here to manage things. So for example, we have a set of services that we offer, and we want to differentiate that. We're using a status in this case so that we know that it is a service versus a physical object. But here we have our small, large widgets that are in stock. We're currently developing, but have not yet produced our extra small widget. We're currently out of stock for our extra large, and our medium ones are on back order. So when I see this here, I'm like, hey, we're going to have to order some more of those. And then once they are ordered, I can move them into that back ordered status. And then when they come in, I can move that into a in stock status so that we know what we have versus what we don't. So that does bring us to the end of this example. But again, I want to go back into our slide deck, and I want to recap the benefits of using a CRM in ClickUp. One benefit that's not listed here is setting it up in ClickUp. It's going to save you money because you're not having to pay for a separate tool. And again, keeping it in ClickUp means all that your work and your data are in a single place. ClickUp is your single source of truth. So not only is this where you know what work you're doing and what work you have done in the past, this also lets you know who you've done it for and allows you to manage all of that information in one place where everything can be interconnected. By setting it up yourself or using a template as a starting point, you can customize that CRM any way you want to. You're not going to be locked into what a particular software vendor thinks that you need. You can build things out the way you like them. And if you're like me, I like doing things myself, and I like things to be very customized to my own needs and my own tastes so that the system is not telling me how to do my work. I'm telling it how to do the work. Here at ClickUp, we don't have an opinion about how you do it. So we give you the ability using these different tools to build the solution as you see fit. By keeping everything in ClickUp, you can keep everything connected using those relationship fields. You can either set it up as a custom relationship field so that that particular relationship has a specific context, or you can just do a task-to-task link so that you're identifying that one task or one contact, for example, has a relationship with an opportunity or another item of work that you're doing. One of the most important things is that the granular sharing and permission settings allow you to control access. So for example, we might allow our larger team, people that are not on the sales team, to access that client's database so that they can kind of know who to reach out if they need to engage with an active client. but we don't want them in our sales pipeline. We want to reserve that for our sales team. And so by using the granular notification not notification settings, sharing and permission settings, we're able to determine who can and who cannot access the data. We can gatekeep and protect our data. And by setting up, for example, the account manager as the task assignee, or adding other stakeholders manually as watchers, anything that happens with that contact, any changes that are made to that contact task essentially are communicated to everyone involved via notifications. So there are lots and lots of reasons why ClickUp is a really great place for you to set up your CRM. So I now want to address a few common questions that people have about ClickUp. First, people generally need to know, how can I learn how to use this tool? ClickUp is a complex tool, but you can leverage as many or as few of its features as you like. The best way to get up to speed on how to use ClickUp is to access our Help Center. And we do that by coming down here and clicking on the Help icon. It will open up this panel, and there are three important icons here at the top. Let's start first by exploring our Help Center. Now, the Help Center can be accessed from the menu, or you can simply go to help.clickup.com. Here is an entire library of all sorts of articles that are related to the different features and components in our system. So let's say maybe you want to see if there's anything in here related to CRM. And look, we have a great article on how to use ClickUp as a CRM. So this will sort of supplement what you've learned in this webinar. So you see here, we start out by setting things up in the hierarchy. We create our views. We set up our fields. We set up our relationship database. We can even do reporting with dashboards, communicate with clients. There's all sorts of wonderful things that you can do with your CRM in ClickUp. This article will give you a guide. Maybe you want to know more about relationships in ClickUp. Well, here we go. Here's an article all about relationships that explains the concept, explains how to set things up, and gives you just a lot of detailed information. So also in our Help Center, you can access this chat. And if you click here, you can type in your question or describe your issue. And if the chat bot, the Click bot there, can answer your question, it'll do it for you. If not, it will connect you with a member of our support team. So that's the Help Center. The next resource is our video library. Now, this is located on our website. And here you will find videos that are short form, like this one, a little less than 2 minutes, that gives you a good overview of the ClickUp hierarchy. You have longer ones, such as the beginner onboarding, which is a really great video to watch if you are really, really new to ClickUp. If you're bringing people on to your team and you want to onboard them, this is a great place to start. So you can actually search by keyword here, or you can simply browse to see the different videos that are available. But the most important, and I believe the most useful tool in your arsenal, is ClickUp University. ClickUp University is free, self-paced training for everyone. All you need is a ClickUp account. So whether you're on the free plan or you're on the enterprise plan or any of the plans in between, you can access and use ClickUp University anytime you want to learn more about how to leverage ClickUp and be successful. If we click here on the All Courses link, it'll bring us to a page where we have this handy filter here on the left. So we can filter based upon maybe role-based or your skill level. Let's say that you're brand new to ClickUp. So let's take a look at the set of lessons for novices. So here we go, Intro to ClickUp. We have set up your hierarchy, communicate with your team, etc. These are all of the things that you need to know to get started. Now, let's say you're interested in setting up a form. Well, it just so happens that we have a course related to forms. Let me disable that filter. So here we go. Streamline your work with forms. Okay, so right here is going to walk you through how to set up a form of your own. If you're interested, we also offer a certification program. Now, this is free. That's something that makes us different. A lot of software providers will charge you for those certification exams, but here at ClickUp, they're completely free. There are prerequisites, so there are courses you will need to take in ClickUp University before you'll be eligible for the exam. But once you take the exam, you'll be awarded a certificate, a digital one, that you can then very easily share on LinkedIn and essentially add it to your resume to let everyone know that you are a ClickUp expert. So everyone, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate the time you take out of your day to spend with us to learn more about ClickUp. If you need assistance, go to help.clickup.com, search that library to see if you can find your answer. If you can't, reach out via that chat widget, and one of our support team will be more than happy to assist you. I hope you all have a wonderful day.